Welcome back to English Mastery Podcast, everyone. I'm Vay, and I've got James here with me for what's going to be a deeply emotional and eye-opening conversation today. You know, James, this episode is going to hit differently because we're not just talking about grammar rules or vocabulary lists. We're diving into something that affects every single one of us, the loss of simple joy. I want you to think back for a moment. Do you remember when finding a few coins in your old jacket pocket could make your entire week? When getting a new crayon set felt like winning the lottery? When waiting for your favorite TV show to come on felt like the most exciting part of your day? There was something so pure about those moments, wasn't there? But now, we live in this world where we can order anything we want with a click, stream thousands of movies instantly, scroll through endless content, and yet we feel empty. We feel like nothing really excites us anymore. And that's not just nostalgia talking. There's actually deep psychological science behind why small things don't bring us joy like they used to. Today, we're going on an emotional journey to understand what happened to that childlike wonder, why we feel less even when we have more, and most importantly, how we can bring some of that lost magic back into our lives. This isn't just about English learning. This is about reconnecting with what makes life beautiful.
Oh, wow, Vay, you've just touched on something that I think every adult feels but rarely talks about. You know what's fascinating? I remember when I was a kid, getting to stay up an extra 30 minutes past bedtime felt like the greatest gift in the world. Or when my mom would let me pick the flavor of ice cream at the grocery store, I'd spend forever deliberating because it felt so important, so special. And birthdays. Birthdays were magical, not because of expensive gifts, but because of that one special outfit you'd wear. That paper plate with a slice of cake and a few chocolates, and feeling like you were the main character of the universe for just one day. But now, even when amazing things happen, promotions, vacations, new purchases, the excitement fades so quickly. It's like we've developed this emotional numbness where nothing really lands anymore. And I think a huge part of this is what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. Basically, our brains are designed to adjust to whatever level of pleasure or comfort we experience regularly. So that first paycheck felt incredible, but now even bigger paychecks feel normal. The first time you stayed in a nice hotel was amazing, but now it's just another hotel. It's not that we're ungrateful, it's that our brains literally reset their happiness baseline to protect us from being overwhelmed. But the side effect is that we need more and more stimulation to feel the same level of joy.
James, that explanation of hedonic adaptation is so important for people to understand. And you know what makes it even more complicated? We're living in the age of overstimulation. Our brains were designed for small doses of excitement, maybe seeing a colorful bird, tasting something sweet, hearing a good story around a fire. But now we're drinking from this fire hose of pleasure and distraction every single day. We wake up and immediately check our phones, scrolling through hundreds of images, videos, notifications. We binge watch entire seasons of shows in one sitting. We have access to millions of songs, thousands of restaurants, endless shopping options. And our poor brains just can't process that much stimulation without going into protective mode. It's like, you know that feeling when you're scrolling through social media and you see 50 funny videos in a row, but you don't actually laugh at any of them? Not because they're bad, but because your brain literally can't feel that much joy that quickly. It's emotional overload. And then we wonder why we feel empty, why we feel like something's missing. We're not broken, we're just overwhelmed. Our brains have turned down the volume on joy as a defense mechanism because there's too much noise. And in that protective numbness, we lose touch with the simple, quiet moments that used to fill us with wonder.
Exactly. And Vay, what you're describing, this isn't just about happiness, it's about our entire relationship with life itself. When everything is turned up to maximum volume all the time, we become emotionally flat. Not sad, not angry, just blank. You smile at jokes but don't feel the laughter. You say I'm fine, but you haven't actually felt anything meaningful in weeks. And the scary part is how sneaky this process is. We don't wake up one day and decide to stop feeling joy. It happens gradually. We feel every quiet moment with scrolling, every walk with podcasts, every meal with screens. We're so afraid of boredom that we never give our brains the space they need to actually process and appreciate our experiences. It's like we're eating emotional fast food all day, quick hits of dopamine from likes, shares, purchases, binges, but our souls are starving for real nourishment. And here's what's really interesting. This isn't just affecting our happiness, it's affecting our English learning too. When we're constantly overstimulated, we lose the ability to focus deeply, to sit with discomfort, to appreciate small improvements. Learning a language requires patience, reflection, the ability to find joy in tiny victories. But if we've trained our brains to need constant high-intensity stimulation, we miss the subtle satisfaction of understanding a new phrase or having a simple conversation. The solution isn't to cut off all technology, it's to reclaim intentional moments of simplicity.
Oh, James, that connection to language learning is so insightful. I think this is why so many of our listeners struggle with consistency in their English practice. They're looking for that big breakthrough moment, that dramatic improvement, because that's what their overstimulated brains have learned to crave. But real language learning happens in those quiet, repetitive moments, reading the same passage until it flows naturally, practicing pronunciation in the mirror, having awkward conversations where you stumble over words. These moments don't give you that instant dopamine hit like watching a viral video, but they're where the real magic happens. And I think the way back to joy, both in language learning and in life, is through what I call intentional simplicity. It's about reclaiming small moments and letting them be enough. Instead of scrolling while drinking your morning coffee, just drink the coffee. Taste it. Feel the warmth. Notice how the sunlight looks coming through your window. Go for a walk without headphones and actually listen to the world around you. Have a conversation with someone and really be present, instead of thinking about what you'll say next. When you slow down like this, when you create space between stimuli, something beautiful happens. You start noticing again. You notice how good it feels to laugh authentically, how satisfying it is to learn something new, how wonderful it is to connect with another person. The magic didn't disappear, we just got too busy to see it.
That idea of intentional simplicity is absolutely beautiful. And you know what I love about it? You don't need to dramatically change your entire life to experience this. You don't need to quit your job and move to the mountains. You just need to reclaim small pockets of presence throughout your day. For our English learners, this could mean setting aside 15 minutes to read something in English without any distractions. No music, no phone, just you and the words. Feel how it sounds in your mind. Notice when certain phrases start to feel natural. Appreciate the small moment when you understand something without translating it first. Or it could mean having a brief conversation with yourself in English while you're making breakfast. Not to practice for a test or improve your grammar, but just to enjoy the feeling of expressing your thoughts in a new language. The goal isn't perfection or even improvement, it's presence. And here's what's amazing: when you approach English learning from this place of calm attention instead of anxious achievement, you often improve faster than when you're forcing it. Why? Because your brain can actually process and integrate what you're learning instead of being overwhelmed by pressure and stimulation. It's like the difference between trying to drink water when you're stressed versus when you're truly thirsty. One nourishes you, the other just makes you feel more frantic. So if you've been feeling like nothing excites you anymore, if English learning feels like a chore instead of an adventure, maybe the answer isn't more content, more apps, more intensity. Maybe the answer is less. Less noise, more silence. Less rushing, more breathing. Less consuming, more creating.
Practice examples for shadowing.
Rediscovering joy phrases.
I choose to find pleasure in simple, everyday moments. I give myself permission to slow down and notice. Small improvements deserve celebration and appreciation.
Mindful living expressions.
I reclaim quiet moments throughout my day. I practice being present instead of constantly stimulated. I appreciate progress over perfection in everything I do.
Emotional awareness statements.
I understand that feeling overwhelmed is not a personal failing. I create space between experiences to truly feel them. I nourish my soul with intentional simplicity and presence.
Beautiful English learners, if this conversation touched something deep in your heart, you're not alone.
We're all trying to find our way back to that sense of wonder and joy that life can sometimes dull. Remember, the magic isn't gone. It's just waiting for you to slow down enough to notice it again.
Your English learning journey, your personal growth, your daily life, they're all opportunities to practice this intentional simplicity we talked about.
Start small, be patient with yourself, and remember that sometimes the most profound changes happen in the quietest moments.
Thank you for sharing this deeply personal conversation with us. Until next time, keep your heart open, your mind curious, and your English growing one gentle moment at a time. This is English Mastery Podcast.
Take care, everyone.